Welcome back to the Mia Pompey podcast, where what you hear is what you get. Calm, direct, and always real. I am Mia Pompey. Okay, so let's talk. You know that moment when it's not loud, it's not dramatic, there's no one clapping for you, and there's no music. It's quiet and almost uncomfortable because it's the moment you finally stop looking around and you start looking at yourself. And you're not looking at yourself in a blaming way, not in a what's wrong with me kind of way, but in a very clear, very grounded realization. It's like you look at yourself and say, oh, it's me. And listen, that could hit in two ways. For some people, the thought feels heavy, like defeat. They look at themselves and say, I'm the problem. But that's not what this is. This is power, because the moment you realize it's you, it's the exact moment you stop waiting. You stop waiting for people to change. You stop waiting for a situation to change. You stop waiting for clarity to magically appear. And you start to understand something deeper. It's you. You've been holding the pen the whole time. Now, let's connect that with yesterday, Tuesday's episode. We talk about seeing things clearly, about pulling back and actually recognizing what's going on. And instead of staying in the illusion, this is the next step. Because once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. And then comes the moment where you have a choice. You either keep repeating what you now understand, or you shift. And that shift doesn't start with a big announcement. It doesn't start with you saying to yourself, I'm a new person. It starts quietly. It's how you respond. It's in what you tolerate, and it's in what you no longer explain. Let me give you something real. Have you ever looked at your life and noticed a pattern? Same types of people, same types of situations, and always the same type of outcomes. Yes, different faces, but the same feeling. And for a while, it's very easy to say, well, they are the problem. And you tell yourself, this always happens to me. But one day, you sit with it a little longer. And instead of reacting, you observe. And then it hits you. Wait, how am I participating in this? Not causing anything, not blaming yourself, but recognizing your role, what you allow, what you excuse, and what you return to. That's the moment. And I'm going to tell you something maybe most people don't say. The realization, it can feel lonely. Because once you see your role, you can't hide behind confusion anymore. You can't say to yourself, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. You know why. And now you're going to have to decide what you're going to do with this knowledge. And this is where most people hesitate. because change requires responsibility. It means if it's you, then you have to decide how to move differently. But now, here's the part I need you to really hear. This is not pressure. This is freedom. Because if it's you, then it's not out of your control. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need permission. You don't need someone else to finally get it. You just need a decision. It could be something as simple as saying to yourself, I'm not doing that again. And because you're not going back, that changes everything. Because you think of things differently, you move differently, and everything around you has to adjust. Some people will notice, some people will understand, and there'll be some people that won't like it. But that's not the point anymore. The point is you're no longer moving on autopilot. You're choosing. And when you choose, that's your power because you're choosing for yourself. You're not controlling everything and you're not having all the answers. But you're finally recognizing that if you're part of the pattern, you can also be the one that breaks the pattern. And that right there, that's the moment where everything changes. Not overnight, not perfectly, but permanently. You have now crossed the line that most people avoid all of their lives. But you saw yourself clearly. And instead of judging yourself, you crossed that line that some people won't. And you changed your pattern. Remember, a woman who knows her worth does not fear the truth about herself. She uses the truth to change herself. And once she makes that change, everything else in her life falls into place. This has been the Mia Pompey podcast, and I thank you for spending your time with me. I will see you tomorrow on Coffee with Mia.